A rose in between two thorns. Just kidding, it's me. I wanted to tell you a little bit about how I lost 20 pounds in 30 days. I also lost 100 pounds in a year and gained most of that back. And so now I'm doing it again because I have this thing where I self-sabotage and fall off the wagon and just stay off the wagon for like a year, you know, like one cheat meal turns into 365. That's how many days there are in a year. If anybody can relate to losing weight and gaining it back and losing weight and gaining it back and continuously blaming the program or something that happened in your life, you need to watch the series. And especially if you're one of those people that's like, keto isn't sustainable and look at what you did and look, it's not sustainable, you gain the weight back. I have a very important message for you fucking people. And I'll be nice as possible about it. Watch for part
So if you
two.
have a Rolodex of pictures in your camera roll of you of these, like going from smaller to bigger, bigger to smaller, weight loss, weight gain, you've been like this is for you. Okay, so we're taking it back to 2014 when I first came into the health and fitness world. I had never done a workout in my life. I had never cared about what I ate, but I was very sick of feeling unhealthy and unhappy in my body and overweight. And I was always the girl with the hot friends. I was not the hot friend. All my friends were the hot friends. I was the girl that people came to talk to the hot girl. It was, you know, the good old sensible Brittany. And it was just like, I want to be the hot girl. So I knew I had to do something. The less active I was, this is the summer I graduated from college, and I was the heaviest I had been at the time, 2011. And then in 2014, I did programs and did all the stuff and ended up falling in love with working out and feeling better and eating better. And I lost a total of 65 pounds in 6 months. This is 2014. Okay. So the end of 2014 to like the beginning of 2016, I was in peak physical condition. I was very regimented on working out and eating right. And I looked like this. I became wildly obsessed with this and with the business and with just being the best and the fittest and the thinnest and the one that had the most amazing transformation to get the recognition and the glory for whatever unhealed trauma I was dealing with. Then I got the call. And the greatest thing ever happened. I was asked by the top coach and the CEO and one of the fitness trainers to speak in front of 3,800 coaches at this huge event to celebrate the beginning of the year. It was like life-changing. My socials blew up. I shared my story with a bunch of people. That's when I was like, oh my gosh, I need to write a book. I was like, this is what I found my thing. This is what I need to do. This is what I meant to do. So after Pittsburgh, I was like, this is what I need to do. I need to be on stages speaking and sharing my story. At the end of 2016 in September, I got a call asking to be, you know, if I would fly out and speak in Wisconsin to this, you know, suicide prevention walk and community. They had a bike ride. It was this huge thing. And I was like, oh my God, I just got a call to be flown out somewhere. It was huge. Like, I was so excited. I get there and, you know, I'm put up in this like roachy trafficking hotel. According to the residents who live there, that's what it was known for. Experience was fine. I was able to touch a lot of people's lives, and that's all it was about. And I got on the plane and I wasn't paid. And I was, at the time, I didn't have very good income, so I was like really counting on the payment, which of course I didn't have a contract. That is really that was the straw that broke the camel's back for sure. And so there was a lot of this happening. I'd gain 10, 15 pounds. I'd lose 10, 15 pounds. I gained 15 pounds, lose 15 pounds. But I was starting to really lose interest in the business. It started to become a popularity contest. I was working my ass off and making all these sacrifices and bending over backwards and eating and sleeping and breathing this business. And I wasn't getting anywhere, and I wasn't a part of the elite club. And I was so frustrated it just became a popularity contest. Well, you know, I think I'm just going to quit because this is stupid. Like, I've worked so hard the past 4 years. I've got no results, hardly. I'm not anywhere where you were supposed to be projected the volume that I was doing. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to do something else. I'm going to sell wine. Great idea. So then in 2017, I decided to randomly move to Florida with a girl that I had met on the internet. That turned out to be a fucking disaster. I was just like flailing around trying to find my place after I left my like home base of health and wellness. I lost that, so I had to find a new one, you know, and wine wasn't really working out. It was just turning me into an alcoholic. I really gave up here. And then the whole roommate thing was a disaster. So that was a bad situation. Then I had to move across the state in with my sister because I surely did not want to crawl my ass back home after a month. Then in the middle of 2017, probably towards later, I discovered the keto diet. My brother-in-law was doing it, and I was living with them, and he's like, hey, this is what this diet is. And I was like, oh, it's like Atkins. And he's like, no, it's different. I was like, whatever. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll play. I like cheese and meat. Sign me up. You know, I'm not really much of a sugary sweet person. I like the potato chips and dip. So I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can make this work. You know, pork rinds and sour cream, whatever. You know, I felt great. Like, this was in the span, I think, of a month. I was like, this is amazing. I was like, I'm losing weight without working out. And so I started working out and I started losing more weight. Like, this is so great. I'm on fire. Like, I felt like I was finally getting myself back again. So with this, I didn't get back down to my like skinny weight because I wasn't working out as much and I wasn't being as extreme, but I felt good. And I knew keto was definitely the place for me. It was something that I absolutely could sustain because when you get to a certain point, you can't have a cheat meal and get back on and you're fine. My problem is that my life just continued to fall apart because I had no sense of control or stability. And while this is a very amazing transformation and I look great and I got purple hair, I reversed it real quick. So then, what I'm best known for is my reversal. So these pictures are years apart. So this is the end of 2018. My book came out in 2018, my first one, and that was a lot harder for me than I thought it was going to be. So that sent me right down a dark hole. And then I ended up having a really big falling out with the closest people in my life that I would take bullets for. And then I had to wash myself up and move all the way back to my hometown. And that was devastating. And I went to a very dark place. But as I do, I rose from the ashes. I dug myself out. I got a really great job at a local hospital working in psych. I ate my way through it. So then a week before the pandemic, I found out I was pregnant. This is obviously like later into my pregnancy. This is towards the end of my pregnancy in 2020. So clearly that was out. Yeah, I know that was a lot. I'm a lot. But I'm hoping that somebody else feels like they're a lot too and feels inspired after they hear the rest of the story. So follow along for part 3.
Okay, this is part 3. We left off where I was very pregnant, and I'm happy to report that I had the most beautiful little baby ever. Isn't she the most amazing thing you've ever seen in your whole life? I know. And truly she was. She was the best baby. I mean, coming from a brand new mom that didn't know her ass from her elbow when it came to babies, never been around babies really. I mean, not for an extended length of time. She was such a blessing in this very difficult time it ended up being in my life. So this picture holds significance for 2 reasons. One, it was during this time, the first year of my daughter's life was a very difficult year for me. She is the reason why I got up every day and I put on a face and I figured it out. This is how I felt. And truly, the significance of this picture otherwise is the fact that I felt like this my whole life inside and I just pretended like everything was fine. I know what true despair feels like and I just hone my feelings in food. I mean, I just do. Food is what makes me feel better. I don't know if I already said this, but when my mom died, I got Chinese food. Literally, that's what I did. I heard my mom died, cried, very upset. I want to go get Chinese food. And my whole family was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go get Chinese. Because that was my security blanket. This was how I felt for most of the year following. I just be eaten, you know? And I mean, you could have, obviously, I was overweight, heavy, very puffy in the face, inflamed. I mean, you could tell I'm not a happy human. Like when you're in that low of a state, if you know what I'm talking about, you don't want to work out. You don't have that energy. You don't have that umph. You don't have the motivation. That's the last fucking thing you feel like doing. So I didn't do it. Even though we know that would have made me feel so much better. Just kind of continued to get worse. Lights on, nobody's home. You know, it was a very difficult time. I had to make a lot of difficult decisions. I had to go through a lot of things. I was not great shape. But anytime I did smile, and I did smile every day because, I mean, like, how cute. I can't. I just can see I am just as big as I was when I was pregnant in that big. You can go back to the video. That big. I wasn't pregnant in this video or in this picture. Not pregnant, but sure do look it. So then I had my own personal come to Jesus moment, and I realized I was heavier than I was when I was 9 months pregnant. I really hadn't paid attention to looking in the mirror at these pictures, and I was like, okay, today's day one. I'm gonna show my daughter that I can fucking do this by my